E-gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Play CSGO? Discover more than 5 various kinds of bets just for a single map. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins, but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with CSGoFast.com. CSGoFast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.
Welcome back to the Starladder I-League Star Series Season 2. We are here with our quarter-final. My name is TomBiz14. Joining me will be Flakes. And what a first map.
I'm not quite sure what words we can use to describe it, apart from maybe sheer domination, if that even lives up to what we just witnessed.
Yeah, I've got a few words, but then they're not really stream sensitive.
Family show.
So yeah, I can't use most of those words. But yeah, no, they're just absolute destruction. I have no idea what just happened. They won both pistols, got 5 rounds. You would expect with both pistols at least 6. So just really crazy stuff from the dignitas side of things. But at the same time, nothing really from Flipside. And well, I'm really disappointed in what we saw from World Edit. Markelov, nowhere near that sort of potential which we spoke about, and there was just no one. There was no one there. Waylander had a few moments where you could have said, oh, do you know what? If he had a couple of players around him that did something, then maybe they could have got at least a few more rounds. But anyway, I think we should just gloss over that last map, almost as if this is not map number 1, and say, well, what do you think of Overpass?
I think I can't think of Overpass without thinking of that last map.
We'll try.
Overall, we should be looking at Flipside taking this map. But at the same time, there are parts of me that say, well, if World Edit doesn't have an effect, if we don't see... Well, because one of the things actually going back to the last map was the fact that they were all popping off in different favors. So there'd be one round we'd see Shard, the next round we'd see Waylander, the round after that Markelov, then we'd see Blade, and then we'd finally see World Edit. We need to see them all doing it at the same time at a cohesive unit and a round together. On a map like Overpass, if you're not together, not as a unit, you are still going to get wrecked.
Well, the other thing for me is I think this is one of the maps where they really have improved their sort of play already on Overpass, with Magisk being very, very good at this map in general, and also the fact that they just looked really strong on it yesterday. Like, Cajun was on point. However, we have sort of gone straight into this one. We are going to look at this initial damage onto Magisk. They have gone from armor across the board. 3 players currently over towards B with the long A aggression, which gives them quite a bit of information as to where the push is coming in. And now we're looking at these taps. Shara going to be finding the first dink, and a lot of damage currently coming in, but Config's going to do more. He finds 2 quick headshots, make that a third, going massive in this pistol, and the rest of his team will close things out. The HP is going to be low, but not a single frag for Flipside.
I've got to say, that was not quite what I was hoping to see on the second map. Already some nice stuff coming out from dignitas. Flipside, just for our sake, please, just wake up a little bit. I want to see something in these follow-up rounds.
It's only round 1. It's only round 1.
Didn't even show anything too cohesive on that T side. He pissed around, but it's only round 1. We'll give him a couple more chances to see if they can show anything nice, maybe. We are seeing 3 sets of armor coming up into this round. The 2 Deagles on board, but already the damage is being done. Those HE grenades just going to be raining down some flak all over. Blade on 65, World Edit on 59. Not a nice way for them to kick things off, but still potential to dish out some damage and find some close-range frags.
Yeah, now, well, we're sort of looking towards the positions of the remaining CT players. Cajun going to be opening things up. Really looking forward to see them all on this map, and whether World Edit will even be able to compete, because Cajun, well, sort of the last 2 or 3 maps he's played have been phenomenal, so really looking forward to seeing what he has to offer in this one. Shower will manage to grab one. He's got a secondary player to watch out for, and Magisk will be that secondary player who ends his life. Don't expect him to pick up the FAMAS because, well, he's a big fan of that UMP. See him throw it all the way across the board, and Waylander has actually managed to get him behind. So a bit of an interesting position from him. Grabs the UMP, going to look to do more, but Rubino will end his life, and now it's just World Edit. He has the bomb. He needs to find this frag, then he has a chance, but Config, well, he's already started very good. Just going to finish that one off nice and easy. So 3 players surviving, keeping their rifles in play, and we will actually see a couple of rebuys coming onto the board.
Not too much to read into this round. Flipside, they have nothing at all to play with. I'm just going to go for that flat eco, just one Tech 9 coming into play in the hands of Blade. Overall, this should just be a quick and easy eco round coming to boot. Maybe they can play for a plant if they do try and do something quick and aggressive. But from a dignitas perspective, they should just be able to lock them out of these sites. Just hold on to those doors and make sure that no one is getting anywhere near for that bomb. And already we see Shara just getting tagged down slightly. Dignitas showing a bit of aggression. MSL going to find himself a nice frag, just doing the work with the SMG. Cajun going to find one of his own. Magic's picking up another one with the UMP. And while they are just looking to make some money.
Yeah, this is nice, easy eco frags at this point in time. Magisk will end this round with a couple of SMG kills, plus the 300, which made him 1,500 in total that round. Cajun going to upgrade straight to the AWP. Wouldn't be too surprised if we saw one of the SMGs survive into the next round, and maybe even 2 if they're feeling a little bit overzealous.
Certainly a bit of a risk, but we've seen it work in the past.
Just one.
You are just going to see him. I think 1 is more the sensible option, especially when you see it on a player like Magisk. And well, we've also seen this in the past, just being specifically on this player, and he has still done the work. But usually he plays that sort of solo road. This time he's got a teammate supporting him, so maybe it's a bit of an iffy one. But playing close connector with a FAMAS could work out okay for him.
Yeah, this is the round where we are really looking to see what Flipside have to offer. They have the AKs, arguably have a little bit of an advantage in terms of the weaponry in play, although that AWP onto Cajun is the main weapon I'm going to be looking towards. Obviously, that's dependent on where they opt to go. A little bit of damage going to be done to Config early on as he goes slightly aggressive, but they now know the position of at least one player. Markolov still waiting over towards the connector point, and the rest of the team just spread out across the map, playing nice and slow at the moment. Not really any sort of aggression. The same from the CT side. In fact, they have now fallen back to the sites and just opted to play this one a lot more passively, use their utility to their advantage rather than their over-aggressive positions. We will see a little bit of a push coming out from Magisk. Possibly going to play close while the AWP plays that sort of long-range duel. But at the same time, I'm not really a big fan of this position because we saw this yesterday where we see the fallback from Cajun and then everything falls apart. Now, 40 seconds left on the clock. Soon we should see the sort of position of Flipside starting to build up. And, well, with a couple of players in connector, I'm not sure where they're going. So I don't know if they are. It looks like looking to entry onto this B site, but the bomb's still yet to really move, and Config going to start things off once again with the first frag of the round with only 25 seconds left. Now we see Magisk, he's going to get caught out, and this has actually been an over-rotation coming out from this CT side. They've all gone towards B, expecting the push to come in there, and in the meantime, the bomb's going to go down on A. So timing has actually played a big part for Flipside, and it's an even scenario here with sort of really bad retake positions at the moment.
Yeah, they're going to be going for this straight aggressive peaks though. Markle funning one. Rubin are going to find a follow-up frag, so the trade's coming in their favour. Blade, he's going to be spamming through the smoke. He finds one, tries to make it 2, pulls it off, takes down Config as well, and suddenly this might finally be a round on the ball for the Flipside as well. Rubino, here's the last man standing, got 74 HP to play with, but a decisive headshot will roll in. Wayland to be the man to find it, and we will see a buy round come into effect. They've made it stick, but now they have to keep things going. One problem they've got, dignitas aren't out of steam just yet.
Yeah, I'm looking to see what they actually opt to buy up in this one, whether an AWP will be dropped over to Cajun, because he doesn't have the money to buy it, and it does look like that will be the case. It means they will be suffering a little bit in terms of the buy. Config going to be the one just on a pistol, and actually going to go for a double AWP setup with Rubino, in fact. So bit of an interesting buy, a risky buy, and now we're going to see this aggressive push from Cajun once again. He does this quite a lot, likes to take different positions over towards the map. As said, I feel like that may have just been taking that leaf out of the old Carrigan style of AWPing, which was obviously his previous teammate when he was on the Astralis team. Either way, looks like the swap seems to be working out quite well for Dignitas at the moment, as Cajun really has been a massive player on this team over the last couple of days. But as I said, we want to see them pushing towards that tier 1 style of Counter-Strike. But there we go. Opening kill. Cajun yet again. No surprise to be saying that in this matchup. But we are looking for World Edit to see if he can actually use the AWP himself. Well, we know he can use it, but whether he will be using it in this series.
And that's the thing. So Will good to be able to use it, but you have to land the shots. And, well, it's not going to happen. Cajun B, he's going to find a second. Takes him down. That means that Flipside, they are being knocked well and truly down a peg, as Rubian are going to be going aggressive on short with that AVP. Going to find himself another frag. Taking Shah out of the map. And one by one, Flipside, they seem to all just be falling over. So it's all going to be on Waylander and Markelov, and Cajun B, he's going to be holding this angle. Potentially could have found a frag just there. Thankfully, Waylander will opt for the secondary route, which means his life is going to be remained intact, especially taking into account that Cajun B did miss that first connecting shot.
Yeah, now 30 seconds left. They have a decision to make in the actual direction they're going to be going. It looks like they're sticking over towards A, especially now that the rotational position is going to become much more difficult. But in fact, it looks like their decision is to actually save into this round. 15 seconds left. There's no real chance for them to go aggressive, but after saving the AWP, you have to look. Markelov actually still has full armor, utility, everything he'll need in the next round. So there is the potential here. The only problem is they're going to have the minimum loss bonus. 1,400 will be all they get, and that means that, well, Dignitas have done their work precisely and kept every single player alive.
The one thing about saving for 2 is that you haven't got that 3 for 2 scenario where you can kind of drop things around and jiggle around with the money and make something stick. They have got a little bit to play with. It will allow them to get 3 rifles on board, backed up by the AWP. But unfortunately, this time around, it will be well at it taking that hit. He's going to have nothing in this round, just a P250, a smoke and a flashbang. At least he's got some armor to help him out. The one thing Flipside should be looking to do is get him a gun towards the later end of this round.
Yeah, and well, it's quite interesting, actually, that they've decided that Markelov will play the AWP and not give it over to World Edit. I realise he saved it, but you normally still give it over to Europa if that opportunity is there to be made. Little bit of a question there, and not even dropping over the Tech 9 he has to his teammate either, so not quite sure why that's the case, but at the same time we'll see what he can actually do with the AWP. He used to play it a little bit more, hasn't done so as recently, but whether he can actually play that AWP, we are just waiting for that. And of course he is up against Cajun B, who's been pretty phenomenal, as already mentioned. Looking to see what he can do in this round and going quite aggressive. Has to be careful because that little connection position to the left can actually catch him out, especially with the push coming quite aggressively now from Waylander. But it looks like he's actually going to be playing a little bit further back. Markelov now going to be making that same sort of push and not really finding anything just yet. But here we go. The AWP. Rubino will find that first over towards the B side. That's the Loke player gone and forgotten. And also looking at Magic's position with that silence M4, but this is nice. The Molotov perfectly positioned. Should be able to find it with the AWP, but doesn't manage, and Magic is going to get that kill. Oh, he shouldn't have got that one either. That's insane. Big misplay from both players there, and, well, now they already know Blade's going to come pushing in. MSL may get caught, but, of course, more shots being missed, and this is looking like a really under-practiced Flipside at the moment, with so many mistakes being made across the board.
I just want to throw back to my pistol round comment, because albeit it might have been a bit early, but it's more fitting now than ever. Under-practiced, maybe. Underperforming, maybe, but overall, they are just being outplayed. Magisk, he makes 2 frags stick. That he should never be allowed to find a single frag in that scenario. That should have been a nice cut and dry, simple AWP shot to hit, followed up by a second frag trade, maybe if the AWP does make a mistake, which every now and then does happen. But it doesn't happen. They've made it to 5. They're playing a very decisive CT side. Well, there's one thing for sure, they're looking to take it one step further. And when you take a look at the Flipside economy, it's just Eagles and pistols.
Well, the more important thing for me is that's 2 buy rounds in a row where Dignitas have kept it 100% clean. They haven't lost a single player. MSL this time will open up this round, but yeah, that's going to do wonders for their economy. Magisk in a decent position, will take another frag. They are going to go aggressively onto long, and there goes Cajun B with a possibility of an AWP for Wayland. A nice nade though, but will find the frag, and that's important, doing some damage at least. Now we see the rotation from the remaining players. They've already picked up an AWP, an AK for Markelov, who actually has some Kevlar behind it, so the aim punch is going to be a hell of a lot less likely, and now we're looking at that sort of World Edit position. He has nothing to play with. He can sort of play that risky position, but he does actually have the bomb. Markelov going to pick up one more, and if this is the round that somehow they manage to pull off, I will be absolutely bemused after the last 2. MSL, Rubino trying to retake this one. Rubino with an AWP, not the ideal position in this scenario, and well, MSL now going to be going aggressive, trying to find something in this round. Of course, they do have the economy to go for this one, already finding 1 kill. They both have kits, trying to make something stick, looking for Markelov. That's going to be the big factor here. Spotted out, and he's going to get taken down. Now it's all down to Waylander. He's got to find this shot with the AWP. They have no idea where he is, and the bomb's just going to be defused. He's stuck behind the smoke, and just has to try and make sure he saves this AWP.
A risky call coming in from Waylander. But I also think at this point, maybe even a smart one, because they might have had an opportunity to take that round. But let's look at that one from an outside perspective. He might have found one frag with the AWP, but he was not in a scenario where he could whip out a pistol and find the second, because the trade should have been nice and easy for dignitas to find. So saving the AWP, well, that gives them an AWP in this round. It helps them with a little bit from an economy perspective, gets them a little bit more utility to play with. It means that they now have a better chance to finally take their second round on the board on this 8th.
Yeah, but now, well, last couple of buy rounds they've had, they haven't managed to get a single frag on the board, and that will change straight away with Shower opening up with 2. That's going to be a bit of a misplay now from the dignitas side of things. Config will trade that kill back, but it's still looking like a bit of a bleaker situation for the dignitas side, already losing 2 players. You have to even remember just the cost of economy, because at this stage, Flipside are going to be looking at an almost full loss bonus, only managing to get that sort of second round. But now we're looking at what they can do. If they can get themselves a second round on the board, Config going to find another one. Drops the bomb as well. Looking for the trade will be Markelov. He has the huge HP advantage. Config actually going to be able to fall back. I'm not sure if he knows where he was shot from. That's the only questions that's really coming in. And Markelov going to slightly go aggressive, but already there's the support of Magisk now on the site.
I think falling back in that situation, another smart call coming out from the dignitas side, because when you look at it and go, that would have been a cut and dry trade. He had no HP to play with. Might not even be a trade at that. The 35 seconds coming off the board. The one thing I'm not liking about the dignitas side, the overuse of boosts. But this one, they've not been too common. I don't think Flipside are clocked onto this one, so this could work out in their favour. Magisk seems to be the man looking down from above, going for the first shot. We'll find it, takes the head clean off of Markelov, looking to do one step further. Well, he's got the AWP in hand, just going to be rattling off a couple of shots. He's going to miss the first flick. That alone not going to be too good, but the bomb will go down. So that's something for them to play with. Now Wayland going to be going aggressive, trying to ditch himself over towards sewers. Just nothing quite going to go their way just yet. They have to play this one passively. That bomb's still going to be ticking away. Dignitas not going to be too aggressive with the retake just yet, but Config, he's still spamming away these shots. 17 HP to play with, so could fall fairly early on, but he's going to just spend the shots right around the corner of pillar, finds one in house, all going to be on well. It's not going to happen. Config just going to be allowed to peek well truly around the corner. And Dignitas, they're going to make it 7. Well, it might not be clean, but it's still around.
Yeah, and well, Config having a massive round there brings not only the round from a sort of, 5 versus 3 to a 3 versus 3. He then takes the final 2 kills in the round while only on 17 HP himself. So really big round coming out from Config, and overall a really big series already. So 7-1. We will have a buy coming back up. The bomb plant allows also, well, that it had some spare cash after dropping the AWP in the last round. So that means he's able to get another on the board here. However, we haven't seen anything from him yet. Hasn't been hitting any shots, hasn't connected a single one. And that's really scary already. And this time, Rubino, he's not going aggressive, not as much anyway, but he will find that kill onto Shara, who really opened up that last round, which is the really scary factor. They had a 2-man advantage. This time, they're looking at a 1-man disadvantage.
I'm inclined to say, try and give Markelov the AWP, but Waylander, he found a frag with AWP. Well, right now, he just doesn't exist. Cajun B, he's going to find another, goes to the repeat, finally going to get punished. That's a frag on the board for Elder. Finally a way for him to try and kick things off. But can he turn it into just more than one? The advantage still doesn't fall in their court. He'll be playing around toilet, it's just going to be lurking around his corners, but the Molotov going to be going down, just precariously forcing him towards those outside shorter angles. Markelov there is going to be there to back him up, but well, still, he's got an inkling to go aggressive. Might be a smart decision, get himself back towards the inside, just really swapping inner and outer. Now he's going to be holding this angle. This could work out in his favour. The flash will pop off, though. Magisk will find the frag. Rubino going to find one of his own, taking down Blade. And Markelov, well, he's that solitary last man standing for the flip side. Well, what on earth can he do? 35 seconds rolling on by. He's got the bomb in hand. But there are 2 members of Dignitas just pinning down both the A and B site. For him to pull this one off, he would need more than just a miracle.
Over the last couple of days, for a team that hasn't been together that long, I'm loving all the team flashes and perfectly timed peaks that are coming out from the Dignitas side. We've seen it multiple times. Markelov, he will find one, and that's going to be it. Magisk will close him down. So the trade ready and waiting. 8 rounds on the board already for Dignitas. Probably feeling pretty confident so far. 3 kills across the board except for Blade, who's on 2. So at least the in-game leader is still at the bottom, as you normally expect. And on the other side, it's a similar sort of ploy. But really, a really scary factor at this stage of the game. Their fragging is just so low, and really the closest round they had was just thrown away by some missed shots. Either way, we are going back into this one with a buy. World Edit will have an AWP, and Waylander already going to be ended by Cajun, who's still just spewing confidence at this point. going very aggressive. Magisk playing this up close and personal position we found him in before. Normally opts the trade, but look at that. Again, we see Cajun. Magisk will be traded, but it's already a two-man advantage now. And Cajun is just absolutely on fire at this point in time. I don't think there's too many people who want to come up against him in this state. And we'll see whether or not he can add insult to injury as the bomb looks to be coming in his direction. Blade pushing up. He's got to be careful as well because Config's also ready to trade this frag if anything goes wrong. But of course it's not. Cajun will connect that frag. Easy peasy. And now there's only one man left. Wayland, or World Edit I should say, going to miss another shot. He misses two. And Config from long range is going to find the headshot with the AK.
This is just going too far. When will this age of reckoning for Dignitas stop? When will Cation be to stop inflicting so much damage? He's just one-man army with his AWP, just finding consistent shots all over the place. No one seems to be able to hold him back.
Well, the scary thing for me is no matter where they go, they can't do anything because they're getting struck down by their play over towards B with Config just isolating that site. And if they go anywhere near A, Cajun just ends them. And already we're seeing a very aggressive push. Rubino will find the first frag of the round. Looks like we now have that AWP over towards B long. The T's are going to take over this long position, but they've got to be careful of the KGB, the Meister himself, and he's going to be looking to find another frag. Misses a shot. This gives them a chance to move a little bit closer, but Magic is there on the trade. We'll find one more back. Cajun starting to miss a few, and Markolov will actually M1 in his right, but there is Config to end this round, making sure there's no chance of any sort of heroics from those pistols, and he just sprays down the remaining three to make this a 10-1.
The thing about Cajun B missing shots, in that scenario, it's completely okay because he's got teammates there to back him up to make sure they can find the frags. Unless three players all start whiffing hilariously, then he's going to be okay and he's going to walk away alive. For Flipside, when you see a player like World Edit missing shots, there doesn't feel like there's anyone there to support him. What we end up seeing is him dropping the AWP and suddenly just being left at a dwindling Ukrainian side who are just struggling for numbers.
Yeah, and, well, I'm trying to find a weakness at the moment in this Dignitas defense. There hasn't been one as of yet. Rubino's position is one that should be very easily countered. I'm not really sure how he's been able to get away with holding short on B with an AWP. That just doesn't even seem to have any sort of logic towards it, but he's managing to make it work, which is nigh on incredible. A similar sort of buy coming out on that T side. They do have a lot more utility to play with in this round, and it seems like the B site is where they hope to reside. And well, you just look at World Edit at the moment. He's very slowly peaking these sort of angles, and he's got to be very careful. We will see the jump, which may have even spotted him out. The flashbang will go over to try and force Rubino out of position. But this is going to be Shara. He should know he's here at this point. Will actually miss the shot this time, and Shara now has an opening. Now we're looking at the remaining two players over towards the site. It will be Config. He's got a little bit of support behind him. And now it looks like they are going to be setting up over towards this side. This leaves the two players on A, quite isolated actually. They're quite far away from any sort of action. We are going to be looking on what MSL can do to support his fragging machine. But this is the potential. 30 seconds left on the clock. The bomb's still over towards that B side. The remaining players starting to rotate their way over. And we're looking what can be done for the CTs.
The worrying prospect for Flipside, they're the ones who have to go aggressive here. They're the ones who have to push. So you can see well that he's trying to bait the angle, trying to force MSL to peek, but there is no need. But thankfully, he's actually going to peek towards Monster. Blade going to be doing the work. He will take him down, but Magic's looking to return the favour. But well that it finally hits a shot with the AWP around, hugely swinging in Flipside's favour. The bomb will go down, albeit in the nick of time. And now around they can work with. Cajun B and Magic. They are going to be playing this one on more bit of a back foot. Not too much they can do to swing things back into their favour. Unless they can step up huge in the next 10 to 15 seconds, I don't see it working out. But there's Magic. Picks up the ante. Finds a frag on towards Shara. It's back to that 2 versus 3. The AWP Cajun B, though, will be taken down by Markolov. Which means at this point, Magic, well, he can even go for these impact frags because he's got the money. Or he can just go and save the M4.
Looks like he's going to try and take as many people with him as possible. Bomb is ticking away, going to go for the spray. Looking like he may be able to do something with this, but there is Blade. We'll take him down. That's going to be it. The bomb not going to go off, so he will survive. And just look at the HP. They were so very, very low. Now we look towards the T side once again. The buy, of course, going to be coming back in for Dignitas if they win this round. The reset, not completely, but it will hurt them quite a lot. And then we could even be seeing another 13-2 half on that CT side. So a big, big round for Flipside. A round that would be nice for Dignitas.
The pressure is on, but I think at this point it already was mounting on their shoulders. But this is one hell of a round. They need to pick this one up. Not a single mistake can be made. let's talk about positioning. Flip side, they are playing this one somewhat passively. Nothing too aggressive taking place just yet. That bomb can be dropped nice and comfortably over towards spawn, meaning the Kings can't do any fancy business to get themselves control of that one just yet. They're only looking to take controller short. Rubino not going to be trying to repeat similar affairs this time around. I think it's worked out one too many times, knows that it's a bit of a risky one. But Shara potentially might be just going a little bit too aggressive. She's going to be holding this close short corner. Config going to be going for the jump peak. No one there to contest it. Won't spot out one, but Cajun B, he's going to take down Blade, and already the Orp's just looking to do some damage. Magic potential to find one, but he messes up the shot. Waylander going to be there to punish him, just spamming away, trying to corner off Cajun B, but he's going to hold in the angle. Well, they're there to try and do something, but will Waylander steal that frag away?
Yeah, the Orp has been switched over to Config. He's now going on a bit of a rotate, leaving MSL on the B site alone. A lot of damage done to Shara and Waylander, but they do still have that man advantage, and Rubino has taken the same sort of damage in return. We are now looking for where they're going to go. They have been leaving these rounds pretty damn late, so no surprise, we only have 35 seconds left on the clock. Two players now making their way over towards the B site, leaving Config alone with the AWP, but does allow him for those longer range angles. It does seem like they are going to commit towards this B site, although it being a little bit late. That should be a quick trade now for MSL. Now he falls back, 20 seconds left on the clock. The push will come in. World Edit going aggressive. Flashbang will be thrown out. World Edit misses a shot, and that is crucial. Now we're looking at Rubino. He grabs one more. It's all down to Markelov. He's got 14 seconds. Config rotates perfectly, and that's an 11th round again for Dignitas.
Is it even appropriate to say, when does it get too far? Because flip side, they have one hell of a path to get back already. But even if they get 4 rounds here, I'm still worried for them, because they're not showing any excellence. This is not the flip side we witnessed play these huge events. This is a broken, uncontested flip side who just, well, they're not hitting their shots, and, well, most notably, World at it. It's just impactless.
Yeah, and that push alone was very, very risky. Like that had to be a huge confidence play. If he pulled it off, then maybe we would have seen him come back into this one, but it doesn't seem to have paid off in any stretch. They are going to have somewhat of a buy in the next round. As you can see, Markelov spending a little bit of the extra cash on a Deegan armor to try and do damage, but at this point, I don't think the damage being done is even going to be too valuable. They're so far behind. A 12th round is going to be more than enough for Dignitas. The only way that this could really go back the other way is if some sort of massive mistake is made by the Danish side, and at the moment they're looking like they're on fire across the board. Even fragging in that round was MSL just able to pick up important, impactful frags that brought the round back into favor. There you go again, MSL starting things off. Tag will come out onto World Edit. This is looking pretty good so far, although he will manage to get a frag back. Shower going to fall in the meantime over towards this B site where the bomb is fairly committed, and well, that's the round good and done. There's no chance of an upset in this scenario. It's all going to be about that damage. World Edit, Markelov are doing quite a bit of it, but can they actually make this into a round now? 1 HP onto World Edit. They are going to be flanking in from behind, but you can already see the reposition coming out from the Dignitas side of things to try and make sure there's no real hope of them actually winning the round.
The biggest problem is that 1 HP. The one nice factor for Flipside is Markelov with the AWP. If he can find one frag, the trade potential certainly is there, but he's actually going to be taking the brunt of the damage. Knocked down to just 46 HP. We're seeing a couple of shots routed off into World Edit's favour. Markelov is going to fall with a flick. Going straight to the chest. Well, unfortunately for Flipside, there is nothing there. Question.
Why does the player with full HP have the AWP and the player with 1 HP, who is the AWPer, have a rifle? I don't understand.
At this point, I can agree with your sentence there, but at this point, I wouldn't say that they have an AWPer, because, well, then it might be the Flipside AWPer. But if you have a player who's consistently not hitting shots, we've actually seen Waylander hit 2 shots with the AWP now.
I would say, in terms of, but for me, if you start talking like that, then there's no way of him coming back into the game. I feel like you have to still give your AWP to your AWPer. And just the HP, that was the thing for me. He had 1 HP. He's not going to have any impact with the rifle. It's illogical. That's the only
I can agree with that front completely.
Either they've started this round off very nicely, opening up. They're going to find another World Edit with the AWP doing the damage. Looking for a little bit more is Shower, who will actually be traded out. MSL has taken a hell of a lot of damage in the meantime as well. So this is where we're likely to see Flipside slow things down quite a bit. MSL slightly missing the shot. We'll throw out the Molotov to try and stop any former pushes coming in onto him. We are looking at Cajun. Nice shot with the AWP onto the jumping Waylander. And now we're going to see them quickly rotate over towards this B site. Rubino, the last player in this position, will go looking over towards Monster. Misses the spray, allowing Blade another frag on the board. And this is going to leave, well, likely a 12-3 half.
Yeah, it seems like that is going to be unsecured. Well done, it will find one. Takes down MSL. Occasionally quick to return. Back to a 1 versus 2. He has got a smoke in hand. That's going to be just popping off on window. But now, with in fact, he smoked himself off. What does he want to do? He just wants to go for the drop. He's actually going to decide, that, you know what?
He killed himself.
They don't even, do they need the round?
Oh,
Maybe
that
the
was
thought
great.
process there. A 12-3 half nonetheless. Jokes aside, another dominant dignitas side.
He must have hit him for like 95 for that to actually be able to kill him. Oh, comical way to end the half, but yeah, as said, a dominant performance so far from Dignitas. They need to get themselves 4 rounds to be able to take this over the board. Flipside would have to have a phenomenal CT side for that to be available. And, well, World Edit, maybe top of the board at the moment, where we're still not really singing his praises just yet. It almost just shows the sort of detriment to the rest of his team. Either way, they need to sort of get this pistol in order to sort of get themselves going. They managed to win 2 pistols already, not in this game, or this map, I should say, but the last 2 in the previous map, and they still only managed 5 rounds. If they can get this one, then I'm hoping they can get some economy rolling and play things a little bit better than they did on Mirage. But so far, not really anything happening just yet. Blade going to be playing the kit. The nades will be on MSL, so both in-game leaders picking the utility roll up, and they're going to allow the rest to go down to their fraggers.
Dignitas, they're toying with the minds of Flipside so far. Just going to be jumping around towards short, finally backing off over towards A. Means the pressure is going to be mounting. We do see a rotate roll in. It will be Blade himself nice and comfortable over towards A. And now for Dignitas, they are getting themselves ready to go for this push. Well, they're going to be tapping away, trying to find something with the pistol. Finally, he finds one, takes down Rubino, looking to make it 2. Wayland are going to be there to help him out. But unfortunately, he tagged his teammate, which means another frag easily handed to the grips of Magisk. It's going to be now 3 versus 4. Not going to write it off completely, but it certainly is on our back foot for Dignitas so far. The clock is going to be ticking away. 45 seconds on the board. Sharp will just deliver a nice headshot straight to the crane of MSL, meaning he has no impact in this round now. Config going to be tapping away, trying to find a return frag on towards World Edit, but it doesn't look like it's quite working out. Just 10 HP being done. Magic going to be going on the quick aggressive push. Needs to find something quick and fast, because if he doesn't, it could potentially be all over. But finally, he'll find himself one, going for the second, getting punished by Blade. That means the pressure going to be all on Config. Here's a 1 versus 3 to pull off. Going to be tapping away the Glock, dishes out a gush. There's going to be some damage being done, but still, they're pushing in from all angles, and Blade will be there to deliver that final headshot needed.
Alright, so 3 out of 4 pistols going the way of Flipside. Still not singing their praises just yet, but it is that opening position. Now they've got a chance to actually try to bring this one back. The Quad Dig and the Tech 9 will be opening up. So again, just looking for those more pick play style. It really means that for Dignitas, they need to find these kills earlier on in the round, because in the late round where you have to push aggressively, Deagle's definitely not the most effective of the weapons in play. We do have a couple of FAMASs along with the SMGs on that side of Flipside, and they're still sort of playing a similar sort of style to normal, although that may just be them trying to almost get themselves rolling a little bit again, as things have not been working out so far. Blade going to go for a bit of a spray, and it will actually be Markelov to find the first kill, making $600 as he does it.
The nice thing for Flipside, they're going to be looking to make some money. MSL, on the other hand, looking to return the fader, will actually just be handing himself over to the hands of Markelov. Blade going to find another one, and what seems like only one frag going to be coming into the board for Dignitas. Rubino, he did deliver a nice headshot straight to the cranium of Waylander. But unfortunately, unless Magic can go huge, which is not going to happen, the UMP frag will roll in. Then it means Flipside, they will find their 5th. The biggest problem I have here is this is reading off the exact same playbook the first map did. So I am going to be looking to this first buy round. But unfortunately, this time around, this 18th is, of course, not going to be it. So there is a bit of a breather period for Dignitas where they can just relax, just going for that full eco. But what can we expect to see from Flipside on their CT side? What can they do to try and bring this one back?
Well, for starters, we need World Edit to just be that sort of confident player, that, especially going for those aggressive AWP peaks in middle. We should be seeing that earlier on. This round, I'd like to see them keep it pretty clean. A very aggressive push comes out from Shara, but we'll find 2 for the price of 1. Markelov now going to be using his utility, and although Cajun will get 1, there's no chance of a bump plant because of the position of Blade. 6 round the difference. Now we see what Dignitas have to offer on the T side of things, and well, the only real saving grace I'd say for Flipside so far is in the last half they won 3 buy rounds without the pistol, so you have to say that they were doing slightly better on the T side than they did on the previous map, because at least they were buy rounds, whereas the only rounds they got were pistol and follow-up in the other one. So they've done slightly better with their setups. Now we're looking to see what they can do here. And well, World Edit and Markelov going to be starting off with the AWPs. They know that they've got a lot of rounds to string together, so may as well throw everything to the wall, just try and get everything working. Cajun going to take an early bit of damage. He's only glass cannon, so has to be very careful with his original position. And well, now we're looking at the sort of setup. Very up close and personal at the moment from the flip side over towards A. Mainly looking over towards World Edit, but Wayland are going to be the supporting cast of that AWP. And it looks like we are going to see the flash pushing him back. Rubino getting ready to look for this peak. And, well, nothing too really crazy at the moment coming out from either teams. Looking at the MSL sort of lurk, going to go for a bit of an aggressive peek. And there's Shara, ready to trade, but actually finds the opening kill of the round.
Takes down MSL. It means they still have 4 men standing. They have taken a bit of a brunt of the damage. Occasion being knocked down to 49 already. Rubino on 68. So you'd have to certainly give this one in favour of Flipside so far. We are going to be looking to see what Dignitas can bring to this round. Of course, we are on our 19th. The halfway marker for Flipside. And this round is going to be crucial for them to keep things going. Occasion be going to be there with his duo partner over towards long, trying to find themselves a frag. Nothing quite going to go their way just yet. Will that it could be holding towards short. He's got that AWP. Potential to find a pick. He will miss the first. Goes to the repeat. Finally hits the second shot. Will get traded out, but Waylander there to secure that frag. Means now all the pressure is on this long. They're going to be going for the push, but Waylander going to find another time. Makes it 3, doing the damage. On Flipside, they are going to secure themselves a buy round, bringing it back to 7 rounds on the board.
Yeah, nice work from Waylander, able to use his positional awareness to move in and out to get those frags nice and comfortably. It does look like every single player is moving forward in the fragging potential as well, which is very important for the CT side. Shara starting things off and then it being closed out by the remainder of the players. Just going to see some pistols into this round. And one thing I do want to highlight is you do actually have to remember that yesterday when they played Train, they had this sort of performance and then ended up only getting a single round on their T side of Train. So there is definitely potential for Dignitas to fall off sometimes, but that is a sort of very hopeful outlook on life. Either way, in this round, just going to be going aggressive towards that B side, trying their best to get the bomb down. I'm just going to rush onto these players, but it looks like the damage is being done. Missed shots coming out from a couple of players, allowing Rubino to grab 1 and 2. Looking for a little bit more. If he can grab this kill, there's actually a chance he could get the bomb down, but Markolov just playing around this pillar will be able to just force him away from the site.
It's going to be something for him to play with. Rubino, he's found 2 already. He's got this Tech 9 trying to play the close range. It will be Waylander really starting to step up in the second half. Delivers a headshot, which means the Flipside are now on their 8th. We're going to see the buy roll in for Dignitas once again. Kind of curious to see if we will see a bit of a glass cannon AWP come into play.
I don't think so. Well, I'd be surprised, especially considering Magisk could, well, not, was it Magisk? No, it was Rubino, could have actually just bought an AWP, so for the risk a glass cannon would have been slightly madness when it was completely unnecessary, but it does mean they're going straight for the rifles. One way that we did actually see them react yesterday to the double up setup coming in was to go very aggressive here, but Waylander has other ideas. He's going to go aggressive himself, even managing to outmaneuver Config to get away with his life as well. So really nice start to the round. We got World Edit switching up his position over towards long, but will eventually fall back over towards the tree. And a nice start already for the flip side of things.
Oh, very nice way for them to kick things off, but they have to keep stringing these together. Not a single mistake can be made because they can't really afford these rounds. But they do have the advantage. The double up setup is going to be just looking to do some work. Willard and Markolov going to be bearing down on their positions. But Dignitas, they haven't really done too much movement just yet. They're going to begin to group up, get themselves over towards short and see if maybe they can find themselves something over towards the A side. The one nice thing they've got towards their side of things, they can easily dive straight down to connector and decide to hit B. So it all comes down to, will they find this entry on the A side or not? Already Waylander going to be looking to shut down Cajun B. Does just that. Takes him off the map completely. Taking to stay handed even further disadvantage. Just 3 men left standing on the board. The smokes will be landing. The flashes soon to pop. But are they going to be able to find this Dragon Blade, who looks to go very aggressive on his own, just going to be getting up onto the bomb hut, denies that from going down, finds the first, looking to make it one step further. Config finally going to be looking to do some impact, but he's only going to find one, gets taken down by World Edit, who's really starting to dish out the damage with this AWP. As now Magic, he's the last man standing, he's in a 1 versus 4. The HE grenade just going to be doing a slither of damage. Now he's going to play, he's pushing in from all 4 angles. He finds the first, goes for the second, connects that shot. Waylander on just 12 HP, so I'd say this is possible, but he has to find the frag on towards Markov. That's going to be the big problem, but the peak will roll out. It's going to be that AWP bullet hitting him right in the leg to finish that round off.
Yeah, nice round in the end from Flipside. Waylander again opening up 2 frags to start off the round. He's definitely starting to wake up onto the board. And again, it's still sort of a team effort. Everybody moving up in sort of unison in terms of the fragging ability. On the other side of things, we're still really looking at sort of Config and Magisk, the ones actually bringing this one home. And Cajun, without that AWP, has started to slow down a bit, hoping to see that again in the next round. But this is a nice amount of rounds strung together now, 6 in a row for Flipside. And this one's looking pretty clean already as well. The 2 Ws of the team manage to get themselves the early frags. Already we're going to see some flashbangs thrown out to try and get themselves on towards long, but look at the positions actually from the CT side. They're all playing over towards the short and toilet positions, just waiting. Well, did it? Going to be peeking out, will miss the shot. There is the potential for the bomb to go down, but it's dropped in a horrific position. Rubino will manage to find one, but now we're going to see this big buy coming out from Dignitas, but things are getting a little bit close for comfort.
Yeah, we're getting very much towards that equalization point. Dignitas still perched on 12. Flip side, they've made it to 10. Just 2 more left for them to find to get to that point. But if there's one thing for sure, Dignitas, they aren't going to be giving up just yet. They've got that buy back in play. They've got the AWP in the hands of MSL this time around. Bit of an interesting choice, perhaps. Not quite sure what's prompting them to go down that route, but they are doing it. On the flip side of other things, nothing changing. The same double up setup, the same rifles in play, and well, the same aggressive pushes. And finally, we see a bit of punishment being inflicted. Config to find the first frag.
Yeah, Waylander becomes a little bit too predictable. He's going to get taken down very early on. We see an aggressive push coming out from Markelov to take down MSL, so that AWP is going to have next to no impact. Still a bit intrigued why it's not onto Cajun, but at the same time, well, MSL used to play a sort of AWP role. We are looking now to see what the Ts have with their in-game leader sitting behind them rather than actually in the game itself. Can give them a little bit of an oversight, point out something that may have been missed. Well, that his position is a good one. Timing not quite there, but now he drops the bomb. Now things become much more difficult for the T side. They've got to trade this frag if they can, then there is the potential. Flashbang going to be going through, but it's not going to catch him. No scope for World Edit. Markelov finds another, and this is all going to be down to Magisk once again, and he's got to be very careful as around that AWP.
Not even being allowed to get post. And well, there is the pause coming in. The bomb will be picked up by Magisk, and he's trying to get away. Goes to the spray. Nothing quite going to go in his favour, knocking Well down to just 40 HP. But even then, he's got 30 seconds to play with. He's in a 1 versus 4. Well, we saw him make a valiant attempt in the past, but at this point, almost certainly not on the cards. Down to 20 seconds. Well, I think at this point, it is already good as done. And now it comes down to this tactical pause. I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping Dignitas are going to be taking the time out because they don't want to let this one slip too far away. Just 10 seconds coming up. Magisk, he will find one. Trying to make it 2, but now he has 8 seconds. This running down quicker and quicker. No opportunity for him to try and do the damage. He will pick up the AWP. And now just going to be looking to try and save this one into that 24th round.
Well, yeah, smart decision actually from Magisk, because keeping the AK and armor not really worth too much, and considering he gets 3,400 anyway, but second he gets that AWP in play, it's a much more valuable position for him to actually be in. We are looking at the sort of factor that it is 8 rounds in a row now for the flip side of things, and well, that's more than was actually strung together by Dignitas. They managed 7 towards the mid of the sort of rounds, but without getting a single round so far on the board on their T side, it really is that sort of position to come in with that tactical pause. I'm definitely looking to see whether or not we'll have that AWP onto Cajun. He's definitely gone quiet without it in the last 8 rounds. I'm not even sure if he's had a frag, which is a very sort of scary factor to take into account. It's been mainly Magisk doing the damage across the board, and that's because not that much damage is actually being done. They haven't managed to really get onto a site. I don't think they've had a single bomb plant at all. So in terms of the actual rounds themselves, they're just achieving absolutely nothing. And this is a big, big problem. They were at 12-3 just moments ago, and after a pistol loss and some rounds streaked together, Flipside are right back in this one.
A complete role reversal coming out Flipside. They've got themselves on the up and up. Just one more round needed to get themselves that equalization point, and from there, well, they're looking to finally position themselves in a firm on-top scenario. We are in that tactical pause. Is there anything that this can do differently? Are they going to be a little bit more aggressive, perhaps, with these rifles, just trying to zerg onto sites?
I would say that that could actually work out quite nicely for them. One of the reactive ways they played Mirage yesterday when they were up against Kingwin was that when they realized there was a double AWP, they just went for a really speedy round to actually catch any of those AWP players out. But so far, most of the rounds they played have been very, very slow, except if they've had pistols in their midst. And, well, the big problem for me at the moment is we're just not seeing too much from any of their individuals. The AWP this time will actually come onto Cajun B, but that's not going to work out perfectly for any sort of aggressive play. Markelov now going to be playing the exact position Rubino was in just a round ago, and, well, not going to hit that shot. We'll be able to fall back and go for a little bit more, trying to do some damage through the gap. We'll actually now throw a nade, but there's Magisk straight through to take him out of the round, and now they're just going to execute, go very, very quickly onto the site. They've got to be careful. There's still 2 players lurking around, and Shower even going to find 2 somehow while blind. I have no idea how he's managed that, but that's going to leave things getting shut down at the moment. Shower finds another while switching to the AWP. He's even got himself a quad kill. There's only 1 more player for him left to deal with, but a massive round coming out from Shower to end this Dignitas winning streak, or any streak, as they are now equal on the scoreboard.
I'm not sure how he strung it together, but those first 2 frags during the flashes, that was crucial. Well, now, as you said, we are at that 12 scoreline. Dignitas, their 12-3 half, it means nothing. Now what counts, you might as well reset the stats, reset everything, because what it comes down to is purely who can whip out the better strategies and who can make those rounds stick. Of course, in this scenario, we do see Dignitas there on the low money side of things, really being forced and choked out of this game so far. Just a Tech 9 armor coming into play, trying to go aggressive, but already going to get punished. Waylander going to find 1, makes it 2, makes it 3, thanks to Waller. It's going to be helping him out. The short orb shot's just going to be rattling off. And while Tech 9s, you might try and go aggressive, but you can't even get close.
Yeah, and World Edit is now starting to really build into this game. He had a, well, pretty weak first half, but they are now in the lead with stacks of cash and no real response. In terms of KGB, he's fallen very, very far from grace considering how he was doing in that first half, and that can be a real strength of this map and AWPers. It really does favor the CT side, but now we're looking at that sort of end half scenario. It doesn't matter how they performed in the first. It only matters what they do now, and well, they're going to have buys coming up against them possibly to the end of this very map. And if things don't go too well from here on out, we're going on to Nuke.
That's the thing. I'm extremely paranoid to say what we could see on Nuke. You know what? Let's see if we get there first. I've got a little bit of hope left in store for Dignitas. Maybe they'll try and pull something different out of the bag finally. But I almost want to see 5 rifles, because this AWP, we're now seeing a complete role reversal, especially in regards to this AWP not even having an impact on the Cajun side of things. Of course, he will be going for a peek, looking for something. If he can take down Markov, that would be ideal, but he's not even going to be presenting himself.
Yeah, this is going to be down to whether or not Shower actually goes for anything aggressive here and the timing behind it. Cajun's going to go a little bit too aggressive for my liking, and for that very reason, Shower's going to be handed a kill. MSL will get away by an inch, but it's now just going to be that build-up onto this B site yet again. We've already seen some Shower heroics. Not going to be going aggressive. He's just going to sit in this corner and make things very, very difficult. Now comes the push. He's going to find 1. A trade is absolutely fine in this scenario, but Markelov, he now needs to do something at least, but that's a quick trade either way. Blade, there's going to be the in-game leaders spraying off against each other, but it will be Blade on top, looking for more, and he grabs that second. Now it's down to Magisk. He has the AWP. He's got his pistol as well. One of the players is low, but Waylander will end him. 2 rounds now needed after a ridiculous streak from the flip side.
They are making every single moment count. This brings back just exactly the speech that Shoxy once said, which was along the lines of frag by frag, round by round, and overall just moment by moment. And that's how Flipside are going into this game. They're just taking it step by step second. And well, ultimately, that's why they've got to where they are now. They've got 14 rounds on the board, just 2 more needed. Dignitas, well, they're completely just lost on their T side. Nothing is working out in their favor. Finally, we see the 4 rifles on the board in the Tech 9 play. They're going to try and go a little bit aggressive, but already the Molotovs just going to be forcing them to slow down the brakes, while actually being halted on this train as Blade now looking to go just a little bit aggressive towards Connector. Actually going to be backing off, which I think is a smart call. He has some information. He's heard the steps. No need for any overzealous plays just yet.
Yeah, plenty of time for them left to play with, but not too many rounds. Could still go back their way if they're finally able to get themselves on the board, but the monetary position of Flipside will mean they'll be coming straight back at them no matter what. On the other side of things, it really isn't looking too good in the money department. The loss bonus is still building up, but they're not able to do too much with it. I think the reason Cajun is sort of going for the Tech 9 here is enable himself to get something on the board, maybe an AWP in the next round. Well, did it. Position isn't a bad one. He's got the cover of Waylander, who has to be careful of that fading smoke. They are still building up over towards this A site. Already they have quite a few players in this sort of circumstance, and this could be a problematic scenario now, as they are going to get flashed out. Nice peek, but it will be Config to find the first. Now they need to get themselves moving. They're running out of time to actually make this round stick. The Molotovs will throw out and actually slow them down a little bit more. They are going to avoid them completely, but this means they're basically being streamlined straight into position. Blade going to be holding the angle, looking for something a little bit more, but it looks like he's going to get caught out. Has to be very careful here. It's going to be well-headed to find another one. Now we're looking at Blade. He'll peek out, grab one more kill, and this is already looking like it's done and dusted in this round as quickly we see the frags coming in. Config going to manage to get one more, but it's still going to be an advantage. He needs to do so much, and it's Markelov to pretty much bring this down to just MSL in a 1v3.
What can he do here? The bomb is just going to be ticking away. Shara going to be trying to find something. Going to be tapping away, but it will be Markelov to deliver that final killing blow with the AWP. Well, now we find ourselves on Flipside. Something I never expected to be saying at all. But now we do find them on map point.
Well, they've now won the same amount of rounds in a row than Dignitas have in total. So, yeah, it has happened again. It's happened again where Dignitas have just had an absolutely abominable T-side, and no, not the Snowman. Just absolutely horrific. I'm not really sure what to comment on this. Have to give huge props to win 12 rounds in a row is absolutely insane. But at the same time, you have to sort of take away some of the props. And, well, Shara's not going to get a kill, but look at the amount of damage that's already been done. And Nade could pretty much finish off half the team. Markelov looking for a little bit with this AWP. Blade, his position every single time is just on point. He's been doing so much. Magisk going to add insult to injury by taking down his in-game leader, who, well, does not deserve any props for this T-side, as they are now going to lose a ridiculous 13 rounds in a row.
Is there a word in the dictionary that can describe exactly what just took place? A word that is family show friendly? Because
No.
I can't think of one at all.
Terrible. I don't know. It was a great CT half coming out from Flipside. Can't take anything away from them. Every single one of their players had their moments. Shara with a couple of crazy spray downs. Waylander stepping up well at it with the AWP. But on the other side of things, Config and Magic were trying to do something. Cajun fell off the side of the map after having a great first half. MSL, this is where you sort of say, okay, well, maybe that fragging ability, well, you're not there for that reason, but it would have been nice. And it just looked like an absolutely terrible second half to the map. And, well, now we go on to sort of the random generator of Nuke, where they've had some success in the past, but will they have enough to take down Flipside?
This is the thing. It's just a huge curveball. And while they might have had kind of a rough patch on it in the past, I think we've seen them take maps here and there. But I've also seen Flipside do just the same. And, well, ultimately, this one could swing either way. I don't think there's too much we can read into things, not too much analysis that can even be done, because there isn't really anything to go off.
Yeah, either way, that is map number 2 done and dusted. We'll be back for the third, which will